blow snower.
Yeah, blow snower, you're right.
Yeah, it's a blow snower. Yeah, it's belts are gone, starter is gone. Gone.
Gone. I
Yeah.
guess they take a lot of wear.
Well, it's an older machine, but you know what? It's a good machine. These are relatively easy to repair. And remember we had one we gave it to Daniel, our son, right?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we did. Oh, he still uses it.
Oh yeah, they're good machines.
Yeah, you can see they're scrapped.
Yeah, got her scrapped. So just put new belts and stuff on there now. And
A bit of maintenance and service.
oh yeah. And then after this, show them what's out there by the door. You've got to come in. And you're getting something towed into, aren't you?
Yes, there's a curve.
And there's another one dropped off. Oh Lord. But I'm not doing all that today. I don't care who you are.
No? How come? Motorcycle? Harley, yay, that's a nice bike.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the color.
Yeah, it's a nice bike, yeah? Yeah. Well, you're right, I do smell manure.
There is.
You know what that is?
What?
Our neighbor down there with the...
Yeah, as soon as I came out this morning, I said, why are we smelling farmland? We never
Holy
usually
smokes.
smell farmland.
Yeah, so that's got to come in now for service, so...
And you got your Honda and you got the pickup being towed in.
Yep. No end to it. Never mind, the camera clamped me in.
I'll clamp you in.
Clamp me in. Okay.
Are you clamped in now? Are you happy?
Clamp, yep.
Clamp, clamp.
Oh, hang on, yep. That's a motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
Magic.
It is magic.
Put the safety locks on. Put her down. Time to go to work. Well, hello YouTubers. It's Saturday morning here in Bay Roberts, Newfoundland, Canada. We have a wind warning in effect. We have heavy rain fall issued for the area, and it's not a pleasant day out there. Although it's warm, I must say, as you just saw in the clip before, the video actually started, this part of the video started. We had a motorcycle in yesterday doing some repairs to it, so, and they're going up and down the street here all the time, so it's, I don't know what to make of this. I hope I never get to use my snowblower and my tractor this winter, but I doubt that's going to become a reality. It will change, and it will change fast. Furnace is cutting in there. It's a little bit chilly here in the shop because the doors have been closed, so I'm just trying to get rid of the dampness that's here. In the meantime, you can hear you'll probably hear the wind whistling behind me. It's not as bad as it sounds. As the weather strip on the door is probably acting as a reed type of thing. But anyway, going to get in some technical stuff now in a second. Something that I ran across this week that I'd like to bring to your attention and show you what not to do and how to do it properly, or in my opinion anyway. Okay, this is basically what this video is going to be about. It's items that you find, or repairs that you find done on vehicles that aren't really done up to snuff. This particular case is just a facsimile or an example of what I've seen this past week in 2 or 3 occasions. We had one vehicle coming in with that came in with a smell of gas under the vehicle, and of course it was leaking. And when we put it up on the ramp, this is what I found, a join like this. Now, it never originally was supposed to have any rubber lines on it. It was all one steel line. And I guess somebody else at another shop decided they were going to cut out the bad section or the short section of rusty line, and they were going to put a piece of hose between one section to the other. And basically that's kind of what it looked like in sections. And they did this in 2 or 3 places. You know, rather than put in a 4-foot new steel line, they put in 2 or 3 joins like this. And you know, this is terrible, because for me, I worry, well, say for instance, say if it blew apart. You know, if that line decided to pop off, well, you've got full fuel pressure leaking all over the exhaust, over the car. You know, very easy to have a fire. It's terrible. So this is definitely not the right way to repair a line. Not only that, the rubber can deteriorate over a period of time, and it can deteriorate to the point, unless you're looking really, really close at it, it could deteriorate to the point where you could just pinch it and you could see it actually cracking. It would be like dry rot. Now, in one other case that I found a few weeks ago, they actually did this, a repair like this, and they actually had undercoated the car. Well, you know, some undercoatings are detrimental to rubber. And I mean, you could see that the rubber became right soft and right gummy. And of course, I had to replace that as well. And you know, it came in for a small repair, and we ended up putting about 4 hours in it repairing what somebody else had done. But you know, we take pictures of this, and in some cases we'll get the customer in and say, look, come in now if you're close and have a look. I want you to see what's going on here. So no surprises. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I should get you up close and let you see that. This is exactly how we seen it. And not only that, we've seen a joint like this also in the transmission cooler line on a full-size Chev pickup. Somebody had done it, and it went up by the exhaust. So, you know, you can only imagine, you know, the chance of the rubber actually melting. And there's a fair bit of pressure on a transmission cooler line. So if it had a small leak and it happened to spray over on the exhaust, well, you got yourself a vehicle fire, and in some cases a loss of life. It could be that bad. So let's go over how to repair these things properly. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about, and we have to talk about it before we do anything else, we have to talk about a pipe flare or a tubing flare. And there's many types of flares, but the most common used are what they call a single flare or a double flare. A single flare is when you take this piece of pipe and you flare the end of it out like that. So the end of the pipe is going to look like that. So that way, when it goes into a fitting, it seals on the fitting. Single flares aren't usually used in the automotive industry. Usually what they'll use, if there's a flare like that, they'll use what they call a double flare. And that's when you take a piece of pipe and you flare it like that on the end. Then you put a double flare on it, which brings in the top of it and squats it down. So you have a double layer on that single flare, and that's called a double flare. That way, when you put the flare nut on it and you tighten it into the fitting, the double flare is really going to seal and is going to be twice as strong as would make sense a single flare. Now, there's many ways of doing a single or a double flare, and one of them is with a flaring tool, and we'll show you a manual flaring tool, which is here. So this one here is made by Rigid. It's a pretty decent tool. It requires a little bit of strength to do it, and So I'm going to get the camera over here now, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do a double flare. Okay, so what I've done, I've pre-cut some lines here, and we're going to use the 3/8 line, and I'm only going to use 3/8 line. I don't usually use too much 3/8 line. It's usually 3/16 or quarter, but 3/8 I'm going to use because I'll show you, you'll be able to see it better, and plus the fact that it makes it a little more difficult to do a 3/8 line because it's much bigger. So first thing you need to do is have yourself a decent little pipe cutter. This happens to be a mini one. This happens to be a standard size one, and I've got them here 3 feet long, so you know, but for automotive this is probably what you're going to need, most likely. So what we're going to do is we're going to after you get it cut, you take a little reaming tool like this, and you can ream out the end of it like so. You want to blow it out because you don't want any metal filings getting into your fuel system. Now with these cutters, they come with a little reamer, and you can also use it like this as well. So I prefer this one. They're only cheap, maybe less than $15 at Princess Auto or wherever you shop. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put this in the tool like that, into the holder, and we're going to take our 3/8 nut, if I can find it, I can't find it. How come I can't find it? There you go. So we're going to put it in, and we're going to put it there to the height of the nut itself, of the flaring or the flange itself. Then we're going to take it and we're going to tip it over. Then we're going to take the clamp, and we're going to put the clamp on like so. See if I can get this just right. It's kind of difficult to do. There you go. And then we're going to see if we can wind this tool down just a little bit. You got to get it lined up good, guys. Now when you get it clamped in, you can see the difficulty these are, but they do a good job. You got to clamp it in first so that your bar is tight on the pipe. And if you don't have it tight on the pipe, it's going to slip, and that means you have to start again. So now we're going to wind that in. And of course it'd be better if I had this on a vise, but I want to do it this way just to show you how difficult it can be. It's not really that difficult, it's just that I'm using a bigger pipe here that you normally don't flare like this, but now that's the beginning of a double flare. Now I'm going to take this, you don't usually remove this from the holder, but I'm going to remove this from the holder to show you what the beginning of a double flare looks like. And there's what it looks like. You see how it's curled in on the top? Well, that's the beginning of a double flare. We're halfway there, guys. We're halfway there. So now we're going to finish it up. We're going to wind it in, and we're going to crank her down. Like I say, you got to be kind of strong in the hands. And we shall clean out that little bit of stuff that's in there. And there's a double flare. I won't consider it a real good one, but it is a double flare. When you start getting into the bigger pipes, bigger tubing, with with a manual flaring tool, excuse me, it starts to get a little rough on you. And by rights, you should have it in a vise. But that's not much good if you're by the vehicle and you need to flare a line on a vehicle. So I'm going to show you an alternative now in a minute. Now also, that's a single and double flare. Some vehicles now, modern day vehicles, have what they call iso flares, or some people call them bubble flares. And the bubble flare will be done with a tool like this. See if I can move this camera, guys, so you can see it better. Sorry about that. I missed my photographer here this morning. So anyway, this is going to be, you'll see these on metric vehicles a lot, like used on metric lines. And boy, hope the place don't blow down. Anyway, what happens is you put your die in here, you put your bar in, and you press this down, and it basically just takes that bend and makes it look like a bubble. And that's basically all it does. Like I say, it's used in a lot of new GMs. I've seen them in Hondas. I've pretty well seen them used on everything else. And it's an easy one to make. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you another way, and a much easier way to do a flare. And I'm going to show you a way to repair a line other than the improper way which this one was done. So I'm going to open up my little tickle trunk here, and here you're going to see different fittings and different nuts. And now some people will probably say, well, Paul, you can use a compression fitting. Now this is what a compression fitting is. For those who don't know, it comes with a little ferrule inside, and you basically put this over your pipe like so, and you put this little ferrule on and you tighten that in, and that seals. Now I've seen that used on fuel lines, and I must admit it's better than rubber. It's certainly not my choice of a way to repair a fuel leak, because it still could leak. Water lines, I wouldn't mind using it on a water line, or even a little airline. I've used it on airlines a lot. My preferred choice is to use, where am I? I like to use an actual flare nut, which this is, and a joiner, or the proper word is a union. So let's have a look at this, and we'll show you how I intend on doing this properly. So we're going to take this line that I have here, and I'm going to fix it up, clean it out inside, like so. And I'm going to close this for now, and we're going to use a hydraulic system. And there's the hydraulic system. Now this particular set can do a number of different types of line work. It can do iso flares or bubble flares. It can do double flares, single flares. It can do GM transmission line crimps, flares. It can do fuel line tubing preparation lines for GM lines or other vehicles. So it's a really neat system. So getting back to this here issue, let's show you how to do this properly. So we're going to take this line. We'll take a couple of short ones. We'll take this line here. Again, clean them out like so. Then we're going to look for a nut to fit that particular pipe. Hang on there, guys. You hang on there, and we shall get to it. So in this particular case, we're looking for a 3/8. So there's the 3/8, and we're going to put that in till it's level with the top of the die nut. I'm just going to lay that there for a second. We're going to take this clamp system and we're going to let it out a bit. We're going to drop it down in its cavity like so. Then I'm going to tighten up the clamp. Now you remember how much trouble I had with the double flare on the other one. So now we're going to take a 3/8 die nut, as you can see. We're going to unscrew this. Now remember, you can do this on the vehicle as well. We're going to drop this down in here, and we're going to make sure that die nut goes right up inside that pipe, as you can see. Then we're going to tighten the nut, and then we're going to pump, and we're going to pump. I got some restriction, so that's enough. So we're going to take that out. Then I'm going to pop this out. I'm going to go over and I'm going to get this one. And I don't know if you can see the beginning of that flare. It looks really cool. So anyway, we're going to drop this one in. Now remember, I'm not straining at all here at this. This is a fairly big piece of pipe. So I'm going to tighten up the nut again, or the valve, and I'm going to pump it again until I feel restriction. I felt the restriction, so we're going to back it out. We're going to pop this out. We're going to put it in the case again, and we're going to put the nuts back in place, the flaring nuts, and there you have it, guys. That is as good as you could possibly get it. It's amazing. So what you would do then is you would take this nut. Now remember, this represents the line that's already on the car, okay? So you just flared it. So then you're going to take this union and put it on here like this. And this will represent the other piece of new pipe you're putting in, which will be on here. And you'll join it in like that. And once tightened, guys, you have no worries. It's as good as new. It's excellent. Now, say for instance you had a fuel line. Some fuel lines got the push-in connector. Some of the GMs got a nut on one side like this, and some got a push-in type connector. Well, what you could do then is you could take a fuel line forming tool like this, and you could put it on the end like this. As you can see, that pipe is pretty well straight. So just to show you now what these things are capable of doing, I'll do it this way for you now. This is going to be a little bit more clumsy because it's a bigger die. But I just want to show you what's involved here. Now, so we got the pipe in, or the tubing. I call it pipe, people call it tubing. So we're going to go with the 3/8. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to show you what happens. So we're going to put it in there till it centers. screw it in until we get the restriction. So tighten up the valve, push this in, like so. There's the restriction. Unscrew it, should make a pop. There you go. So we'll take him out and put him back in place. Now we'll take this out and I'll show you what it looks like. There you go. See the little edge? This represents the line coming from your fuel pump or from your sending unit. Well, what you do then is you would take this, you would put that over there till it clicked on, and you would put that in place, and there you go. That's how it's done, guys. It's very, very factory looking. It's back to OEM standards. So this is just a shorter version. Now this pipe could be 5-6 feet long. You know, you go up to where the good pipe is and you join into it, and then the bad pipe you take out and you put this in its place with the OEM connector. Now, I know what you're saying. Somebody's probably out there saying, yeah, but what about this end? Well, let's get into talking about that end now shortly. I'm going to clean up my bench and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what you do about the plastic end. Holy smokes, it's getting windy, 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 big time. Okay guys, with regards to the plastic connectors or the quick connects that's on your vehicle, now guys, first of all I'm going to tell you something. This is not for the faint-hearted owning this stuff. This is only feasible if you have a garage and you're doing this thing, you know, as a living, because this kit here was probably, I'm guessing, 600 bucks. The hydraulic crimper that you just saw, the flaring tool, that's close to $500 or $600, and then there's extras that you can purchase for it as well. So the purpose behind showing you all of this stuff today is so that if you do have a fuel leak, or you do have a transmission cooler line leak, or you have an oil pressure leak or an oil leak, and you get it back from the shop, it's probably worth your while to crawl up and under and have a look and make sure that this type of repair isn't done. It could save your life or your family's life by knowing the difference, because the average person who's not into this business could look at that and say, oh, that looks like a tidy repair, and to the untrained eye it do, but it's really not. It's really a disaster just waiting for an opportunity to happen. So, you know, or also too, if you're going to the garage and you tell them that you have a fuel leak, you can always ask them now, how do you intend on repairing it if it's a leak? And if they say, well, we're just going to cut the line and we're going to put a piece of hose on each side and we're going to join it with some stainless steel connectors, well, you know what, guys? Walk away. That's not the proper way to do it. Now, with regards to the plastic quick connects that's on most vehicles today, especially GM, there's actually a kit to replace them and the plastic lines going to the sending unit. And this kit, this particular one that I have, is made by Napa, or supplied by Napa. And as you can see, there's a clamp here. You can see the new connector in. You can see the plastic tubing clamped in. And this is like a gun. And as you push on it, it pushes this right up into the plastic. There is literally no other way of doing this. You know, people say, well, I can heat up the line and I can push it up. Not good. This is the tool for that job, for that repair. Now let's have a look inside and I'll just show you how in-depth this is. There's the clamp. There's the instructions, as I call them, right there. There's all types of different fittings There's joiners, as you can see, and they must all be installed using this clamping system. You don't need a special nut on it after. You don't need a special hose clamp. Once it's squeezed on over there, it's good to go, as it was originally. Some custom applications, well, then you can use a special type of compression fitting for it, which is like that. And there's many different types. There's, 90-degree ones, there's straight ones, there's 5/16, 3/8, 1/4, there's all types, and even the joiners. So it's nice to know that this stuff is available, and believe me, like when it's done, it looks OEM, and you know that when your customer leaves your shop, he or she is safe, and so are the occupants of the vehicle. Here's some other stuff. There's hoses, there's gauges, and holders, and then there's other little furls in here, like you'll see in auction, set lean hoses. This here, there's quick disconnects. There's all kinds of things. Like everything that's in this kit is what you're going to need to properly repair your vehicle. Now, when I'm showing you this stuff, we don't get paid for this. This is just, like Napa's not paying us for this video. There's nobody paying us for this video. This is just stuff that we want to bring to your attention so that you know, when you visit a shop, you know what to ask for, you know the questions to ask, you know if it's going to be done properly. So, that's where we stand to on that. So folks, I hope this short little video has enlightened you a little bit in the proper procedure of repairing a fuel line, a oil line, anything. At least you'll know that this is better than that. That being said, as you can see, I'm wearing my poppy. Tuesday up here in Canada is Remembrance Day, and we have 2 sons in the military. We're deeply proud of them. They're doing a great job for us and Canadians. And I always said, if you enjoy your freedom, thank a veteran. And if there's any veterans watching this particular video, thank you people for your service. It's greatly appreciated. For you doing the things that you've done gives me the freedom to do the things that I do. And it means a lot. And it don't matter what side of the border you're on, if you're fighting for the right cause, and which is freedom, it's a great cause. It's a lot of, there's a lot to it that a lot of other countries don't have the liberty of knowing about. The world is crazy. It seems like it's getting worse. So maybe our people in our forces can try to tame it a little bit. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you like it. If it's a little bit different than the videos we've done in the past. It's kind of semi-technical. Probably be showing you some more tools later on. Probably every now and then I'll pull out a tool and show you what it's all about, because I'm telling you, there's tools here that fellas that's been in the business for years haven't seen, and yet I use them on a daily basis. So I don't know if I'm weird or what, but it's the way it is. So thanks for watching. Kathy is off today. She's in doing what she does. She's doing some graphic designs, and I figured I'd come out and throw this together. So be good to each other, take care of yourself, be safe, don't text and drive, don't use your phone while you're driving, and be good to each other. Thanks for watching. God bless.